So a bit earlier on another call, I tried a short and I got right back in the short. So I'm currently short. This market's getting a bit squirrely in this area. As we see that continue. If I'm not mistaken, my hypos are pretty much exactly the same as yesterday. So as soon as I'm not managing this trade, I'll go through them. So hypo 1 is bearish below the 6130. Obviously, our levels are still good. You see the overnight coming back, respecting. You see us starting to find resistance here, just like yesterday. If we get well, let's stick with that. So expectation is for here, and potentially lower. So that's hypo 1, and that's what I'm executing on these trades currently. Hypo 2 is kind of more of the same. Where we continue to rotate inside these zones. That offers opportunity from all three of these places, right? You can fade any kind of retest of those areas as we go through. And then hypo 3, the only bullish scenario would be 6220s, getting above and holding there and going. Yesterday was wild. If we take a quick look at that, I mean, even on the profile, you can see that's not normal, right? We had this inside day on the 12th, yesterday on the 13th. We blow through the highs, blow through the lows, and then kind of consolidate in this area. Hypo 1 yesterday was the same. We were looking for trying to be short in this area. That was wrong early on. We tried a long, that failed as well. But then we got a little mini pullback, great little order flow signal in this area, and I held that trade into the close, adding to it along the way here. Those of you that were on the Market Delta webinar that I did yesterday heard me talking about that position in real time. Got one last kind of scale here, tiny scale, and then essentially the rest of it here. I had a couple losing ads in this area. I think I only captured like 25% of my max favorable excursion on that trade, so didn't get nearly what was on the table there, but I managed the trade decently well. Got a bit bigger in this trade. That is an ad. Bit of passive buying in this area, some absorption. May lead to a squeeze higher. Squeeze is underway. Out of the ad, back in the ad. I almost always reach across and hit. A little different nature to crude today than we've seen in a while, with these kind of 10-cent quick washes. That started happening around here, right as soon as I started trading. They see my orders coming in and they're like, whoa. 3 out of my 4 entries, there's been a quick 10-cent retrace immediately after my orders get filled. Or not immediately, but within a couple seconds. Maybe someone's gaming me. Maybe it's one of you. I'm just kidding, by the way, for those of you that are new to the room here. Let's crack it. Got our ETH VWAP just below here, around 99. RTH opening print was 97. But I'm looking for a move down to around, just initial move down to around 80 cents. 3 wide pour low yesterday. And this is really the main distribution that we formed in the afternoon. This one little single print right here. The general 80 cents. Crude's compressing long term. If you look at a daily chart, a weekly chart, that type of thing, it's really coiling. That could mean that today is yet another rangy coiled day. Or the inventory report today could be just the catalyst that it needs to really do something different. We shall see. Small scale into the VWAP in that RTH opening print here. And then the real scale right there. Low 80s, just in front of 80 cents. All that volume that just was done at 82. Although Steven, a lot of times, like for example, into 80 there, knowing that I wanted to scale, that's going to be different. I'm going to be on the passive side of the market for a lot of targets like that, which I'm sure you already knew with your experience. But on the entry side of things, I don't like to try and be the first guy in the trade. Imagine there is 100 people that are getting into every single trade opportunity. I like to be the 8th guy to get into the trade. You definitely don't want to be the 97th guy to get into the trade. And guys that are constantly trying to be the first guy in the trade, they get run over too much because it's not an actual trade. So I try and be number 8. Well, 7's my favorite number. I'll be number 7. Me getting into and sometimes getting out of on the losing side. Well, actually, sometimes on the winning side too. It's almost like imagine an old Western where people are having a shootout. But it's not like a blazing, just like like 10 people involved. It's just 2 guys. They walk out in the street and they're staring at each other. And one of them is going to wait until the other one tries to draw. That's essentially what I feel like getting into trades is like for me. I'm staring at this other guy. I'm just waiting until that precise moment. And then I try and draw as quick as I can. Does that make sense, or does that sound crazy? Yeah, just so everyone knows, I don't like to use the Zoom chat. We just don't want to use the Zoom chat. And I know there's a lot of new people that don't know that, so that's fine. But we want to use the Slack room to talk because that's where all our messages are saved and stored, and we can refer back to those conversations. If we use the Zoom chat, I have to keep track of another platform, and Lord knows I keep track of enough things. Yeah, it's fine, Roger. But that's a great question. So Roger was asking, what tells you he's going for his gun, in that Western shootout analogy? And Steven said, I suspect it's a sudden volume imbalance. So today he saw aggressive sellers and then jumped on board. And here's the second part, which is, I think, most important. At a level that he previously, that is before the fact, as part of a pre-market plan, thought was interesting. So when I see things setting up according to one of my hypos, it's all a matter of, I'm essentially a pullback trader, as most of you can identify. I don't trade breakouts, I trade pullbacks. So I look for a weak side of the tape. For example, in this case, I thought the buyers were weak as they tried to go higher. And so as soon as I think that the swing high is being put in, and I'm using footprint chart, I'm using delta, I'm using everything I can use to read the tape well, to see what buyers and sellers are doing. And it's a specific skill set that you have to build if you want to be able to improve that kind of timing. But yes, as Steven said, I look for the other side of the tape to begin to take control, and then I pile in with them at the earliest possible moment after that's been identified, after we're in a counter rotation, after I've seen acceptance across an area according to one of my hypotheses. I don't suggest that newer developing traders even try to time trades like me or as good as me. I teach my guys that are just kind of developing to look for the obvious turning point on the candles on a close to close basis. A lot of times that's not much different than the prices I get. One of my favorite tools to tell people to use is a little Heikin-Ashi overlay, which simply smooths out the price action. It's not red bar, green bar based on up or down. It has to change by a certain amount before it gives you a different color. Really want to focus on getting the right contextual ideas first, because you can have decent timing, but if your overall ideas and sense for what that market is doing is wrong, you're never going to be able to be anything other than a short-term scalper, just picking up a few pennies. Will be interesting today to see if this market can start trending, start holding below 60.60. If that's the case, I will likely be holding a core position into the inventories number, which is very rare for me. But I got to step away. Hope you guys have learned something today. Hope it's been helpful watching someone trade and walk through their thoughts and different things they're doing. And look, we're trying to build a desk here. I want to help you guys. I want to attract talented, smart, conscientious, disciplined, hardworking people with integrity. These are the kind of people we're looking for here. And go to smbfutures.com and see how you can really get involved with us. And when you're ready, definitely show us that you can that you've got what it takes, and join our desk, and then work with me on an individual basis for free and get all the tools and resources, and come into our office and meet Dr. Steenbarger and get help and all that good stuff. So we'll see you guys around.
Many people want to be traders. They're passionate about markets, but they don't know how to accomplish the goal of being a successful trader. They don't know the path to achieve that goal. And it's easy to want to be a trader, but that doesn't mean it'll be easy to be one. And there's no easy path to any form of greatness, but there is a path. SMB Futures gives traders a way to move their trading forward, a way to rise above all those who try and fail. Whether you're just starting out or an established veteran, we have a place to plug you into our system and keep you moving forward down the right path. Maybe you need to connect with successful traders. Maybe you need training to develop mental toughness or find edge. Maybe you're ready to trade on our team, either remotely or on our New York desk, where you are backed by large amounts of capital, provided with world-class professional technology, where you work with a risk manager that knows you, within a culture of coaching and mentoring, at a firm that takes all the downside risk while encouraging you to become the best version of yourself. For those with the courage to make the journey, SMB Futures is here to move your trading forward.